fire, they shut down the power right away, but you need to have one fire, so.
Right.
Yeah, it's just, trying to do some of those things to our security around the place. It's good.
Yeah, exercise.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but
Bobby?
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
the cabin down south, we don't have internet there. We want to keep it kind of.
It's pretty interesting.
It is.
Sure.
Yeah,
Professional.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You're on.
Oh, is it time?
Yes, I'm
Sorry.
Michelle for like 6
I'd
years.
like to call to order the first meeting of 2026 for the Pleasant Hill Rec and Park District. And I see all directors are present. Director Cram, would you like to lead us today in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right,
Oh, Bobby's off.
wonderful. I'd like to start off by opening up the public comment. This is an opportunity for any members of the public to comment on any element that's not on our agenda today. Michelle, are there any?
There are no public comments.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and close a public comment period, and then we'll start off with item 4, the GM report.
Great. So I included a written report in your packet. Exciting. We have over 300 girls and boys signed up for winter season for youth basketball. So it's one of the largest we've had in quite some time. So that's really exciting. That kicks off here in January. So our first games are on Saturday, January 24th. So if you walk through our front office, there's tons of deflated basketballs and jerseys and all the things that go along with getting that started. So it's a good job with to Victoria and her staff for getting that up and running and really rebuilding a program. I think that that is nice. That's much stronger, and so we're excited about that. I have for each of you that I will send via email new 75th anniversary signature blocks for your Outlook email. I will send that to you along with a little video on how to upload that if you're so interested in doing that. We're encouraging all staff to use those during our 75th anniversary year. So excited about that. And speaking of the 75th anniversary, I originally had told the board that we were going to do a celebration on January 22nd. I have rescheduled that. We had a little snafu with the invitations. Our current mayor is not available for that day, and I really wanted him to be a part of that. He is going to be gone, and so I think really, since he came from our board, I wanted him to be part of that. I also, because of how the Thursdays fell, I didn't like it being on board meeting day, so we're going to find another day in spring that will happen. So probably March. I will make sure that we're all available, but I just wanted to give you that heads up. I want it to be a great celebration and not something that is just thrown together. So I think doing it a little later, a little nicer time of year will be. The other thing I'd like to report is we obviously made it through the storm. We had no trees down, and things drained really well. I will commend Tom for texting me, saying that he came into town and made sure that everything was draining properly and that we didn't have any trees down. So that was good news with the high winds and all of the water that we saw. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Any questions?
Yeah, I noticed in the report you mentioned the bathroom at Rogers Smith Park, and I've been by. I know it's all fenced in and trees are protected that we're saving and all that. I couldn't get a sense from the people that were there when the building was going to start being demolished. So was it done today, or do you happen to know when that's coming down?
Lance, do you have a timeline on that?
Next week? Okay, yeah, they got all the equipment out, so.
Yeah, and they had to do some asbestos remediation this week, so they did that first, so I know that they were doing that this week. Just very small amounts, but they had to do some remediation before they could demo it, so.
And what's the duration of the project expected?
So the entire contract, including maintenance, because they have a maintenance period, we're anticipating until the beginning of June. But Lance believes with the timeline, the restroom should be completed and up and running in April, so.
So the park will be back open again in
Yes.
April.
Yeah, that is, as long as we don't get a ton of rain, so obviously that's dependent on weather. So,
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
really glad.
Yeah, just following up on that, I assume there's some temporary facilities?
Not currently,
Portable?
so everything is closed at the park, I mean, we don't have anything scheduled. If the restroom isn't open in time for PHBA and bocce to start, we will put a temporary restroom out there at that point in time. But the playground is closed at this point in time, because it's in the construction zone, so.
Any other questions? All right, we'll go ahead and close that item and then move on to item 4.2, which is the board committee assignments for 2026. So with this board committee, subcommittee assignments, I took into consideration some of the preferences that board members had on committee assignments, as well as, some of the things regarding, I felt the skill sets of the individual board members to fulfill the duties of the committees, specifically for the year ahead with some of the things that we have going on. So I guess I'll just go ahead and start off with the Budget and Finance Committee. On that particular committee, I had I had Director Vinson as the chair of that committee, with Vice Chair Bonato as also attending on that committee. So that would be for Budget and Finance. On Personnel Committee, I'd have Vice Chair Bonato serving as the chair for that subcommittee, with Secretary Glover also joining her on that. So felt that was a good duo. For the program subcommittee, that'll be chaired by myself, and along with me would be Director Vincent on the programs subcommittee. And then for land and facilities, I was going to have Director Tran chair that subcommittee, with Secretary Glover as well on land and facilities. And then the last one would be for the liaison to the city, and that would be fulfilled by myself as chair and Vice Chair Bonato for that subcommittee. So that's kind of the slate I put together for this year's subcommittee assignments.
Can you give me the personnel committee? I missed that.
Oh, the personnel committee would be Bonato and Glover.
And who's the chair?
Oh, chair is Bonato.
Okay, great. Great.
Great. So
Nicely done.
thanks. Then I would say we close that item and we move on to the consent calendar. It's an opportunity to just enact all of these under one motion. We have a couple items to approve the bills and warrants for December 30th and January 8th, and then the minutes of December 18th. So I'll entertain a motion on the consent calendar.
I'll move approval of the consent calendar.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, consent calendar is approved. All right, let's move on to the action items for this evening. The action item for tonight is to identify a date for our annual board planning retreat and also discuss potential topics for that. Michelle, would you want to?
So tonight, I'm hoping to get a date on the calendar for our board planning retreat. Right now I was looking, just to throw out an option, I was looking at January 30th, which is a Friday, or the 29th, which is a Thursday. Both of those is the 5th week, so we have no board meetings or anything we usually do at the end of January. So I thought that we'd start there. But were kind of my two options, and then I'm here to just if there's any topics the board can discuss, it can be a long list, and then I'll work with the chair to call those. So
I
we
figure,
can start with the
first maybe just start with the date. We can.
Those dates are both good for me.
Wait, what time would they be? I'm sorry.
it'd be like 9 to 3 or 9 to 2.
I have a commitment on Thursday, but Friday I can.
Friday works for you?
Friday works better.
Friday works good?
Friday there?
Friday works for you?
I'm okay.
Friday, okay, that you're.
So Friday the 30th, then
That's easier than I thought it was gonna.
good. It's good we have a longer month this,
Yeah,
time we
that
can get
good
it.
week helps.
Yeah.
It didn't help for this meeting, but it helps. Good.
And at this time, maybe we can take a moment to just brainstorm and think about, potential topics that we'd want to cover as part of the summit. So open it up for any thoughts in that regard.
I think kind of a continuation from last one, the funding opportunities. And, priorities be important.
And along those lines, I think looking at the pot of potential projects that we have, the priorities that you're referring to, Bobby, and actually getting those before the board. And then maybe giving land and facilities and a little bit of direction about, how to begin, we're looking at some of those. But I do think, I'd love to see our board really begin to make some decisions about, where we'd go if we did have, the funds to do it.
I have the same
Same.
notes, so, I'd like to hear, we can do this either at that meeting or, last year we did talk about the events coming up for the year. It would be nice just
Events calendar.
a short, information session on, what those events are gonna be for the year. Yeah, the projects, as you were saying, I had the, strategies for funding the development of the park near the library, Chopin Singo, and not in any particular order, but we've talked about those, and I agree it's time. I think we're ready to go. Just need that chunk of change.
Director Trent, any
Yeah,
thoughts?
I think all of those is, probably top of mind for all of us. Event schedule, I think would be nice, but also even sort of a discussion on what other types of things we can lean into in terms of community events, I think would be nice as well. Sort of under the rubric of prioritizing which facilities, if we were to get funding, maybe even discussion on some of our unused facilities and other things that we could potentially do in the meantime, because even if we were to get funding, there's gonna be some time before we get to a place where we're actually actualizing any of those funds. So I would love to just have a discussion on how can we better utilize what we have currently. It's going to be a good one to talk about. And I think you brought this up several times as well about, whether we should have reserves or sort of discussion, sort of take that bucket down several times. And I think it might be time to, really have a discussion on what would that look like and how we do it.
I don't know if the rest of the board would be interested, but I'd be interested, and maybe we do it in the personnel committee, in having an org chart developed so we can sort of see how all the personnel sort of play out with all the various departments and things. It's been a long time since I've looked at something like that, and kind of just seeing where personnel is being placed and how our programs are being supported.
The staffing kind of overview.
Yeah.
I think
Maybe along those lines too, I was just thinking, it doesn't have to be a lot of time, but an updated list of our partner organizations.
Yeah,
I think some are no longer in existence. And maybe it's time to, co-sponsor group, sorry.
yeah, co-sponsor. Yeah.
And maybe it's time to look at some others to adding some.
Yeah, I'm writing notes. I think Michelle is as well. So I want to say that there maybe not everything that we can cover, in that session. But I'm, pleased to hear a lot of alignment, at least with some of the ideas that I had previously discussed with Michelle of my own for our planning summit. I felt like it was important to look at how we might prioritize the projects, sit down and be very, disciplined in looking at if, the reality is that we're looking to go for a bond measure, which projects would we, elect to, want to move forward and be more specific and, have that so that we can communicate it, if we're moving forward with the bond measure. I had also, wanted to look at some of the things that we had discussed as a group about performance metrics associated with the departments, kind of unique ways in which we can look at tracking how we perform as a district and thinking about what sort of metrics we would put, for those different groups that would reflect how we're doing. I believe what we can measure, we can improve and do better. So some sort of idea on how we might track individual department performances. And then
Would you envision a consultant advising us in that regard?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we talked about this, in which we said a lot of this is sort of qualitative, what can we come up with as far as, individually department owned sort of metrics that best reflect how they would judge themselves, or maybe it's against, other representative, agencies that are similar, so maybe a consultant can help us with generating some ideas in that regard. So that would be something that I think would be of interest for us.
Yeah, I know we put the HR position on the back burner for financial reasons. So I was wondering what the financial impact of that research would be. What's your vision is?
Yeah, I think that would be something for sure that we would want to look into as part of the department and how we improve in especially with the administrative department. What is the metric that we're going to use to assess, our administrative staff department? I can think of metrics that we might use for other departments that might be fairly straightforward. But my idea is at least, with these, not only just having them for internal use, but being able to communicate those, to the broader public and say, these are the types of metrics that we use to evaluate our performance and being able to tout those so that we can use it as a way to show,
So setting a policy for staff, because the board doesn't get involved in evaluating individual.
Right. It wouldn't be, individual necessarily. It would be just, at a department level. Yeah.
I want to say that I think it might be useful for the departments to potentially even suggest what those metrics would be, because they're frontline subject matter experts in what they do. And I was actually really pleased from last year, sort of the construct of just a departmental report and how they put that together and sort of formulated what they felt was important, what they felt needed to be said or highlighted. And so it could just be more of we would like to have something tracked so we can, as a board, just on a more 30,000 foot level, how is the district doing? But you tell us, what that should be, what that should look like, right? And so I think from a board perspective, we can just have that sort of just policy. We would like something trackable, and then leave it up to the staff to sort of suggest what that would look.
Yeah.
No, we've got to hire consultants.
I very much agree. Yeah.
Where it was going.
Yeah, in that, having the department to take ownership of that makes it so that, they feel like empowered by, what these metrics are. They'll be more inclined to try and, take that into heart and improve in those areas. So I definitely would want that to be something that, it would be unique for each group, obviously. Yeah, and then the only other one that I think I also heard that we had talked about was, making some creative use of our underutilized spaces. I think that could be a opportunity for our planning summit to think about, some of these facilities that we can help maximize in terms of their use. Being somewhat intentional with saying, we have opportunities to make use of these facilities that, don't have enough visibility. And I think that it would actually help benefit the district's cause in terms of showcasing, hey, we've got these areas that, we want to be able to utilize and showcase that, think about different ways we can make use of them and bring a little bit more attention to these spaces that could use a little TLC or, that we would want to, start to make use of if, we're moving forward with potentially a bond measure to improve those spaces. So those were the few ideas that I had. So I'm glad to hear that, we're pretty well aligned with some of the ideas for the planning summit. And then Michelle and myself, we can kind of think about, how we would structure the summit to be able to incorporate those topic areas. So I wonder, Michelle, if that gives you enough to kind of work with.
It gives me enough to start. I mean,
Yeah.
some of these will, if we don't have enough time, we'll move to board agendas. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, the nice thing about the summit is, it's just a little more flexible, but all of these can be board topics as well in future time.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking along those lines, just like we haven't, before I realized that this will occupy, we have 2 or 3 of these items occupying our entire time, but a couple things that we had in the past that I learned a lot from it. And I think they predate 3 of you at least, were the conversations about, and I can't remember the assembly bill, but the
Girls
yeah,
in
required
sport.
the equal play between equal field space for boys and girls. I thought that was an important, very enlightening conversation to hear. It also puts it on the forefront as somebody involved with PHMSA and PHBA to continue to, push that there needs to be an increased focus on, girls' participation in sports, especially past the age of 11. But that's why, and then along those lines, what we're doing with basketball, what you all have been doing with basketball to get girls involved and having some new sports and new opportunities to encourage girls to play. That was one. The other was when the core groups folks came. I thought that was more reactive in response, I think, to at that time some vandalism up at Hillcrest Church and possibly some stuff here. I can't remember exactly, but it was very. I had never met with the core folks to hear how they partner with Pleasant Hill, Martinez, and Concord to deal with unhoused transient population and resources that are available. It was a good conversation to hear about what it is that they're doing to help and assist but I think those could be other presentations as well. So.
Yeah, I don't know if we had any public comment on this particular matter, but
No public.
okay, then I guess if we've got enough, kind of on our agenda, we can massage that and pull it together for our summit later this month. So I'll go ahead and close that action item with the anticipation that we'll pull together an agenda and put that out for everybody to review. On the next thing is item 7, the opportunity to have some verbal reports from which we don't have. And then
Before we move though, are we not having a meeting in January?
We will have a meeting in January. We haven't scheduled one yet since we just got the assignments. But
Assignments, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to do that
I need to
and
do that.
dates for the year.
Yeah.
We can figure that out after if you want.
yeah, we'll find some dates.
okay. And then item 8, in terms of board announcements and requests for staff, start with Director Tran.
Not much, just relaxed during the holidays. I did see some of the staff clearing out the ditches and then actually clearing some of the overgrowth that went out from some of our properties to the street. We don't have sidewalks on all of our properties, so just watching staff being able to clear that out so that the rain didn't affect it. So that was great. But other than that, happy 2026. That's it.
We were gone for over 2 weeks, so it was interesting weather, but nice to be away, but kind of watching what was happening around here. just in case there were trees in our area, but we didn't have any problems. We did participate in a senior center activity last night. We went to the Warrior game against the Minnesota Bucks. I'll tell you, taking that bus over there, I think there were 34 people on the bus. You pick it up here. It's great. You know, the driver does a great, you don't have to park. They drop you off right in front. You go in. We had seating, it's called the bridge area. So you actually have separate seats with a like a table thing in front of you. So if you decide to go get food, you can bring it back. We were at one end of the of the court, and we could see enough, you know, because I was trying not to watch the video screen. You know, you pay money for tickets, so I was watching the players. They were tiny, but we were not in the nosebleed seats, so that was nice. Plus, they got a win. It was a very exciting game. But I do want to give a shout out to Norma Paddington, who was the tour guide for that particular trip, and she did an excellent job. You know, we all got there, we all made it back, and really no problems. So it was an easy way to go. No driving, and very stress-free from that standpoint. So thank you to the senior center folks. And I'm looking forward to the appreciation dinner tomorrow night. That's all I have.
Not much is, Happy New Year to everyone. A reminder that March 7th is opening day for PHBA. Rain or shine, the parade will happen. So Saturday, March 7th, get that on your schedule. And I do, because I give them a bad time. I do want to acknowledge for the record that after 25 plus years, Lance did win our fantasy football league. And so
We took him 25 years?
I think first time I think he's had a winning season in like 20. So,
The drafts Cowboys thing.
no, he stopped drafting Cowboys fans, so that's why he's Cowboys players, so he still have interest.
Okay. Vice Chair?
Well, I've been away as well, but I've kind of been watching from afar and enjoying all of the social media that the staff has been putting out. So kudos to Jen and her team for all of that. Very nice to see the district continuing to reach out to people with either cheery information or information about our spotlight. Also noticed on returning that the city's digital sign has been talking about our spotlight, and I thought that was really cool to see that. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So again, a great publicity effort that's going on. That's all. Happy New Year to everybody.
Yeah, I have a few things. First of all, I'm excited about tomorrow's event for the annual appreciation. Looking forward to that, and hope to see all of you guys there. We had also, I think, an invitation perhaps that maybe everybody had received. I'm just announcing that on January 14th, that Stay Pleasant Hill will be, hosting a luncheon at 11 to 1 at the Hyatt House to kind of help promote some of the tourism here in Pleasant Hill. It's kind of appropriate, I guess, with the Super Bowl coming to town, as well as the FIFA. They're going to have more people here, so maybe we can capitalize on some of the activities, people coming to Pleasant Hill. There's also been a request that we might participate in the second annual Lunar New Year Parade. It's hosted by the DVC Asian American Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander group. They're going to be putting that together, so we're looking to see if we might be able to participate. But at least I want to let you guys know to circle your calendars for that particular event that's coming up. So I was also, pleased to see, I just got my Outlook, and there's a, big spread, here, and the Outlook all about, the Pleasant Hill Rec and Park District and, 75-year anniversary. So happy to see, the communications that were going out already about the 75th, just a couple of weeks away from the actual date of our 75th anniversary. And so it, kind of excited to promote that throughout the year. That's pretty much all I have, but I know that Director Tran had, closed a lot of these meetings with quotes. I don't have, quotes necessarily prepared, but I do want to at least share appreciations. I typically do that, with my meetings at the beginning of the meetings, but I figured at the close, I wanted to share a special appreciation for Jen Boyce. This is kind of a little bit overdue, but also, kind of timely with, what she's doing now. But when I reflect back, in 2020, having, gone through a campaign to be here on the board, she's one of the first people that I had met at the Pleasant Hill Rec and Park District. And, she had reached out to me afterwards, kind of wanting to get some ideas for, creative programs that could be done during COVID during that time. So I got talking with her and Sheila Catruvo at the time about, different things that could be done. I just I'm really appreciative of her, being one of the forward-facing people in the district and putting a good face for us in terms of all the marketing work she does. Her enthusiasm and passion and just overall great attitude is wonderful for us in this in her role. And so I just figure that she'll have a particular area of interest this coming year in helping promote our 75th anniversary as we go into 2026. So I wanted to, kind of close the meeting with an appreciation for her at this time. So with that, I'll adjourn the meeting at 7:31.
Way to go.